So the Rose Basketball Club have played in 2 games and it's not looking good for Lexie Hull. It's really not looking good for Lexie Hull. Like, I don't know. Imagine going from Christy Sides coaching where she doesn't really want to play you, and no matter what you do on the court, it doesn't matter because your coach doesn't want to play you.
Lexie Hull played just 8 minutes in 2 games for the Rose Basketball Club at the new Unrivaled 3-on-3 basketball league. Her team, 0 wins and 2 losses. Meanwhile, her teammate Angel Reese is trying to rack up double-doubles in those same games. Coincidence? We think not.
She's back to mid-season form. She really is. She's absolutely delivering on that double-double. That's right. Points, rebounds, and of course, losses. Just in the same way that the Chicago Sky melted last year when her double-double streak started, she cost her team a game.
We're diving deep into this unrivaled mystery. Why is Hull riding the bench when her playstyle is perfect for 3-on-3? Is Reese's stat padding taking precedence over winning again? Get ready for some hard truths and eye-opening revelations about what's really happening behind the scenes. Are you ready? Let's go.
And then eventually your coach figures it out and starts you and plays you 30 minutes a game and your team gets better. I think Lexie Hull is going through something like that right now with the Rose Basketball Club, because Lexie Hull has played in 2 games. She has played about 8 minutes combined.
You know what's wild? Seeing a 3-on-3 basketball star warming the bench in a 3-on-3 league. That's exactly what's happening with Lexie Hull right now, and it's leaving fans scratching their heads. Let's rewind a bit. Hull isn't just some random player. She's a bona fide 3-on-3 specialist with Team USA gold and bronze medals to prove it. We're talking about an athlete who's represented her country multiple times in international 3-on-3 competitions. She's the real deal, folks.
Not only that, she's been good. Like, the problem isn't that Lexie Hull has been garbage. Lexie Hull has played well. That's the weirdest thing, is that she's actually played well. There is one issue with Lexie Hull, which is why I think she's not playing, but I think she has actually played well. And their team lost again.
So, imagine everyone's surprise when Hull played a grand total of, wait for it, 8 minutes across 2 games in the Unrivaled season. That's right, 8 minutes. You could barely heat up a frozen pizza in that time, let alone showcase your basketball skills.
It's 2 games where other people got to play a lot and she didn't. So 2 games are 2 games, okay? And so for 2 games, we see Lexie riding the pine.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. The 3-on-3 format should be Hull's playground. With fewer bodies on the court, there's more space for sharpshooters to do their thing. And guess what? Hull's got that sweet 3-point shot. In fact, during her time with the Fever last season, she finished 2nd in the league in 3-point percentage. That's not just good, that's elite.
People were commenting that, man, whoever, when Lexie's guarding the person with the ball, they don't score. They don't score because we know what kind of defense. We know she's scrappy. We know she slides those feet. We know she gets her hands on lots of balls, as she says, on basketballs. She's a lockdown defender, and we got to see that. Lexie can also shoot. So I got to ask too.
But it's not just about offense. In 3-on-3, one-on-one defense becomes crucial. You need players who can lock down opponents, and Hull's got that in spades. Her defensive ratings have been solid, proving she can guard top players effectively. So, we've got a player with Team USA experience, a deadly 3-point shot, and strong defensive skills. Sounds like the perfect recipe for 3-on-3 success, right? Well, apparently not everyone got the memo.
I don't need to stay here and be in Miami and just sit on the bench. Maybe that sounds harsh. And I am a team player and I'm willing to sit on the bench when it's time, if that's what's best for the team. But I'm just saying, I can't figure out why she barely, especially the 2nd game, like nothing at all. Everybody in double figures and Lexie just sitting there because Lexie is not in the game.
Just look at players like Kayla McBride and Kate Martin for the Laces Basketball Club. They're thriving in systems that use their shooting abilities effectively. These 3-and-D specialists are showing exactly what players like Hull can do when given the chance.
Chisels out space. Money Martin. Oh, yeah. Hey, You gotta love Money Martin. Kate Martin, just an excellent shooter. She runs the floor so well. One of the things that Coach Wade talked about was coming into this league being in shape, and Kate has done a great job of being prepared and running the floor.
But instead of lighting up the scoreboard, Hull's warming the bench. And her team? They're sitting at a less than impressive 0 wins and 2 losses. It's enough to make you wonder if there's more to this story than meets the eye.
And then we saw Kate Martin have one of the best performances of the weekend with a double-double at the guard position off the bench in limited minutes, where she did unbelievable.
The whole situation is puzzling, to say the least. Hull's play style is tailor-made for 3-on-3 basketball. She's got the resume, the skills, and the experience. So why is she riding the pine instead of leading her team to victory? This isn't just a head-scratcher, it's a full-on mystery. We've got a player who should be dominating the 3-on-3 format, yet she's barely seeing the court. It's like having a star quarterback and deciding to use them as a water boy. So what's really going on?
People are saying, oh, she should have never went to Unrivaled. I still think, look, she's getting paid, what, 100 and something K? At least. Could be paid up to $250,000. Her, like, she's everywhere. Like, it's going to help her out. She drew the short straw with her team. The way the coach wants them to play is just not the way Lexie Hull is good at.
Let's talk about the Rose Basketball Club's current predicament. You'd think having a player like Hull on your roster would be a recipe for success in a 3-on-3 league, right? Well, apparently not if you're the Rose Basketball Club. So what's going on here? The Rose team seemed to be taking a page out of the How to Lose Basketball Games 101 playbook by keeping their player Lexie Hull glued to the bench. In their first game against Vinyl, Hull managed to sneak in a crucial 3-pointer when the team was down, showing us all a glimpse of what she's capable of. But instead of building on that momentum, the Rose decided to double down on their head-scratching strategy.
The problem is that her team doesn't need 3-and-D because they rely on the double ball handler strategy, which is a bit weird. And like Chelsea Gray again is just throwing passes anywhere. I wonder how many assists Chelsea Gray had. She had 6 assists, 3 turnovers. Like, she is just firing the ball anywhere. Like, I don't even know if some of these are passes, some of those behind the back things. I don't even know if they're passes. She just I don't know if she's mishandled the ball or she's trying to throw a pass half the time in this. Chelsea Gray's distribution's been horrific.
You know what's even more baffling? Hull's defensive skills are no joke. In that same game against Vinyl, she effectively guarded Ryan Howard, one of the top players on the opposing team, and contributed to a key stop. But apparently that wasn't enough to earn her more playing time.
But they play high pick and roll. So, well, not necessarily just high pick and roll, but something into a high pick and roll, whether it be a handoff, whether it be some cuts, whether it be something, but everything is something into a high pick and roll and go to the basket, or clear out, cat copper, go ice, or Chelsea Gray try back you down, shoot. Lexie Hull can't create for herself, and she's not on a team that suits that.
Fast forward to their second game against the Lunar Owls, and Hull might as well have been a spectator. She didn't score any points and barely saw the court. It's like the Rose are allergic to winning or something.
It's clear Lexie Hull is doing well on defense, well as anyone can do in this type of setting on defense. She's doing as well as anyone can do, and she's what, 1 of 2 from 3? She's hit a 3. She hit a nice catch and shoot 3.
Let's break down the Rose's game strategy for a second. They seem to be prioritizing shot creation from their guards, which sounds great in theory. But here's the thing. Hull excels in a more structured catch-and-shoot role. It's like they've got a Ferrari and are trying to use it as a delivery truck. It just doesn't make sense. Successful 3-on-3 teams understand the importance of spacing and utilizing players' strengths. With fewer bodies on the court, you'd think Hull's sharpshooting abilities would be a perfect fit. But nope, not for the Rose.
The way the Rose play is they have 2 shot-creating guards, and they kind of go your turn, my turn, and you have to be able to create your own shot with the way the Rose play. Like, a lot of people are going, like, complaining about the coach for playing Lexie Hull because Lexie Hull's coming in, doing a job, doing well. The problem is that Chelsea Gray, Brittany Sykes, Kat Copper can all create. Azare Stevens and Angel Reese's jobs. Angel Reese a little bit different because if she gets on the board, she pushes it a little bit and she can kind of go to the wing, play a little bit of point center. But their job is to roll and seal. That's it. That is all their job is. They do some other things, but their job is to roll, seal, and handoffs.
Think about all the moments where Hull's skills could have made a difference. When the team needs a crucial 3-pointer to stay in the game, Hull's on the bench. When they need a defensive stop to prevent the other team from pulling away, Hull's warming the pine. It's like watching a chef refuse to use salt in their cooking. You know it would make everything better, but for some reason they're just not interested.
Pick and rolls, pick and pops, handoffs, and every other player on the team has to be the pick and roll ball handler because they do not spot up. There are no spot up opportunities. It is pick and roll, hit inside, and yet they're shooting they will shoot some threes. But look, as a team, they shot 10 threes. They shot 10 threes as a team. And almost all of them were off screens pulling up. They do not spot up as a team. So Lexie Hull, who is a 3 and spot up shooter, not a shot creator, has no role with this team.
So, is there a method to this madness? Are the Rose playing some long game that we're all too simple to understand? Or are they just making a colossal mistake that's costing them their first win of the season? At this point, it's hard to tell. But one thing's for sure. If they keep this up, they might as well change their name from the Rose Basketball Club to the Thorn in their own side club. You know what they say, numbers never lie. But in Angel Reese's case, they might be telling a half-truth. Her double-doubles are piling up faster than the Rose's losses, and that's no coincidence. Let's break down what's really going on here.
Pulled right out of this game. Turnovers, fouls. It was a disaster. Old for everything, as one person pointed out, in the fourth quarter. So Angel Reese was 3 of 7 from the field. Once again, cannot get to that 50% mark. 5 turnovers, 14 rebounds, 10 points, and a big, fat, juicy L. 79-73, her team lost the game.
In their first Unrivaled game, Reese strutted onto the court and walked away with a shiny 10-point, 14-rebound double-double. Impressive, right? Well, not so fast. Those flashy numbers came with a side of 5 turnovers and a shooting percentage that would make a Little League coach cringe. A whopping 42%. Sounds familiar, right? Here we go again with the stat padding.
Once again, guys, looking like a baby deer or a baby giraffe out there. I cannot believe that somebody that looks this uncoordinated is a professional athlete. It's shocking to me. She's really one of the few, maybe the only one I can tell that looks this way on the court. Just like out of place playing a game they've been playing. It's weird.
Now, let's talk about Reese's playing style. It's been described as aggressive, which is a polite way of saying she charges around the court like a bull in a china shop. Sure, she's improved her footwork and can push the ball off rebounds, but her layups? Let's just say she's still busy laying some bricks. And don't even get me started on her passing.
You can imagine missed layups from last night. Man, I mean, what is really going on here? You see that? And then right, whatever that is. I don't even know what that was. One more time. Oh, my God. I'm going to drive to the basket, and then I'm going to mess the ball up. No layups. Whatever that is. We don't know what that is. They haven't identified exactly what the hell that is.
This brings us to the million-dollar question. Is Reese's stat padding taking precedence over team success? Because let's face it, those double-doubles look great on paper, but what's the point if you're not even winning games? It's like she's playing her own personal game of catch while the rest of the team is trying to, actually win.
Aaliyah Boston last night, making Angel Reese look like a hot
Excellent job.
right here. You can see it. And of course, Aaliyah Boston plays for the Indiana Fever.
A coach's perspective shed some light on this stat-stuffing situation. They pointed out that while Reese is showing potential and trying new things, her execution still needs some serious work. It's like watching a toddler try to tie their shoelaces. There's a lot of effort, but the results are a bit of a mess.
So, Angel Reese went to doing some bragging last night. Growth of what? Missed layups. Yeah, her posting this, it backfired pretty good. Growth, 3 of 7, 5 turnovers, and an L.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Reese's obsession with padding her stats might be directly impacting her teammates' playing time. Remember Lexie Hull, the 3-on-3 specialist who's been warming the bench like it's her full-time job? Well, it's not hard to connect the dots. While Reese is out there chasing double-doubles like they're going out of style, Hull's stuck on the sidelines, probably wondering if she accidentally walked onto the set of The Invisible Woman.
How's that debut going for Angel Reese? The same old, same old. Reese finished with a Rose's team-high 14 rebounds, 5 turnovers, 4 fouls, shot just 3 of 7 from the field, 42%, got benched for most of the fourth quarter. By the way, when she got benched, the comeback was on. What does that tell you? And once again, she was getting layups underneath the basket, and I'm screaming, pass the ball out, and she would not do it. She would not do it. Her teammates sitting, just standing back looking at her.
You might think Hull's benching is all about basketball, but what if it's actually part of a bigger game? Let's connect some dots that'll make you see Unrivaled's strategy in a whole new light. Remember when everyone thought Hull signing with Unrivaled was a no-brainer? You see, when Hull joined Unrivaled, people started whispering about a hidden agenda. The theory? Hull wasn't just there to play ball. She was there to lure in the biggest fish in the women's basketball pond, Caitlin Clark.
When it was announced that Lexie Hull had signed with Unrivaled, there were people who were saying that the only reason why they wanted to put Lexie on in the league was because they at that time were trying to entice Caitlin Clark to sign with the league.
Now, before you roll your eyes, hear me out. Hull and Clark aren't just random players who happen to cross paths. They're fever BFFs, and their connection runs deeper than you might think. They've shared the court, they've shared the spotlight, and now they might be sharing a spot in Unrivaled's master plan.
We know how that all played out. Lots of attempts to coerce Caitlin to play. So Lexie Hull got an invitation. Obviously, Aaliyah Boston got an invitation. And people were thinking, you know, they're really, really, really trying hard to get Caitlin. No disrespect to Lexie Hull at all. But people were saying they really going all out to try to pull Caitlin in.
Let's break it down. Unrivaled isn't just looking for good players. They're after stars, the kind that light up social media and fill seats. And who's the brightest star in women's basketball right now? You guessed it, Caitlin Clark. So if you're Unrivaled, how do you catch Clark's eye? You bring in someone she knows, someone she respects, someone like Lexie Hull.
My thought was, this is starting to look like folks were right when they said they didn't really want to utilize Lexie. They just wanted her to try to entice Caitlin.
But here's where it gets tricky. If Hull's primary purpose is to be Clark bait, that might explain why she's spending more time on the bench than on the court. It's not about Hull's skills, which, let's face it, are pretty darn impressive. It's about her presence, her connection to Clark, and the message it sends. Hey Caitlin, look who's here. Wouldn't you like to join us too next year?
CDS Sports Podcast says, if Unrivaled Rose knew what it was doing, Lexie Hull would get about 10 open threes per game in this 3v3 style of play. Embarrassing. Here's someone else, Jenny. Rose BC needs to utilize Lexie Hull. She's a defensive weapon and her 3-ball is a bonus. It's a shame she's bench riding.
Now I know what you're thinking. That's crazy. No team would sign a player just to attract another one, right? Well, in the world of pro sports, crazier things have happened. And when you're dealing with a talent like Caitlin Clark, teams might just be willing to pull out all the stops.
She is great defensively. She had great, great success as she was out there. There are things that don't show up on a stat sheet. Her stat line did not look good. Where's this? There's no stat for other folks didn't score while you were guarding, right? But the eye test. So hopefully the coach will figure out they brought her on here for a reason. She can shoot the ball. She can play defense. She should be getting minutes.
But let's not forget about the fans in all of this. While Unrivaled is prioritizing Reese's stat stuffing, Hull's supporters are getting more frustrated by the minute. Social media is blowing up with outrage over Hull's lack of playing time. Fans are calling for her to get more opportunities, especially when it comes to shooting those sweet threes she's known for. They're pointing out her defensive skills, praising her ability to lock down opponents when she actually gets on the court. One fan summed it up perfectly. Hull's role as a 3-and-D player is not being leveraged at all. It's like they forgot what she's capable of. And you know what? They might be onto something. Because if Hull is just there as Clark bait, using her actual basketball skills might not be high on Unrivaled's priority list. So, Where does this leave Lexie Hull? Stuck between a rock and a hard place, that's where. On one side, you've got a team that might see her more as a marketing tool than a player. On the other, you've got fans who are dying to see her show off the skills that made her a 3-on-3 standout in the first place. Let's face it, folks, the Lexie Hull situation with the Rose Basketball Club is turning into a real mess. Fans are fuming, players are frustrated, and even Caitlin Clark is raising an eyebrow at Hull's lack of court time. Here's the thing. While Hull warms the bench, Angel Reese is out there padding her stats and losing games. It's enough to make you wonder if winning is even on the menu for the Rose. This is where it gets interesting. The ball's in Unrivaled's court now. Will they unleash Hull and give the Rose a fighting chance? Or will they keep her sidelined, much to the dismay of basketball fans everywhere? One thing's for sure. This drama is far from over. Hashtag Free Lexie Hull. Anyone? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.